welcome, everybody to our December State of the Industry. I think I know everybody on this call, but in case not, I am Katie Hardman. I'm the COO or Chief Opportunity Officer for the Experience Brokerage Network, and my lovely co-host, Leslie. Who are you?
Well, I'm Leslie Hilbert. I'm the general manager of the Amazing Experience Brokerage Network, which, of course, as most of you know, and if you don't, makes up four amazing Keller Williams market centers here in the state of Oregon, from north to south, and almost 600 incredible agents here who do almost 4,000 transactions a year. That's a lot.
That's a lot. I think it's important to say we always say four market centers, but we have like 22 locations. So we truly, north to south, cover the entire state of Oregon. So thank you guys for being a part of our large organization and making us such a powerhouse. I really love to brag on you guys about that. And the reason we always talk about this is because we have new faces. So there's seven new amazing business owners who have joined us since the last time that we had State of the Industry. So if you don't know these names, but you see them on the call, like shoot them a little message saying, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome. And if you do know them, also like fist bump them, high five them, elbow, whatever sanitary things we're doing these days. So we're glad you're here. Okay, now we have a couple other announcements before we jump into why you guys are really here, the real topic. So, first and foremost, Leslie, do you want to talk about this? We're
Oh my gosh,
almost.
the fourth quarter takeover. Okay, so it's our sixth year doing the fourth quarter takeover? Seventh year? I'm not sure. I've lost track. Every year in the fourth quarter, while other brokerages are slowing down, that's not what we do here. We lean in and we take market share, which means we focus on taking listings. So we run competitions in our local market center as well as throughout the network. And we honor those agents that are taking listings in the fourth quarter. But we did things a little differently this year. So as the market has shifted, we're not only honoring those that have taken listings, we are focusing on those that are converting those listings and actually getting them into escrow and getting them closed. So this year's fourth quarter takeover scoreboard looks a little different. And here is the summary of the entire network's scoreboard. And as follows, Katie, read out those incredible results.
So, first and foremost, rookies, still anybody's game. And that's anybody who's been licensed since October of last year through now. You are considered a rookie in your real estate business. And if you are a solo rookie agent, then you qualify for this. If you are in your first year and you're on a team, like you count towards your team's numbers. But anybody's game, it's not too late. We still have a couple weeks. In the solo category, though, with the most listings taken, Aubrey Martin out of KWSC, Keller Williams Sunset Corridor. For the most listings closed, Jim Kavanaugh. I don't know what's going on at KW Sunset Corridor, but those solo agents are closing a lot of deals and taking a lot of listings. Love it. In the team category, so this is two producing agents. The Durling Real Estate team out of Eugene for the most listings taken, tied with the Brock team out of Salem, KW Capital City, with four listings taken. And then for listings closed, Connect PDX out of KW Sunset Corridor. And then in the group category, this is three or more producing agents contributing to the productivity or to these numbers. Holy smokes. The Mary Gilbert Group out of Roseburg with 18 listings taken. That's
Wow.
incredible. And then the Benson Broker Group out of Salem, KW Capital City, with 12 listings closed. Like, those are some incredible numbers. We don't slow down in the fourth quarter. We take market share. I love it. Congrats, you guys.
So good.
So good. Okay. Next, we have a special. Tammy Sue, do you want to talk about this at all?
Sure. We have a special course coming on Monday, the 15th. My division's put together a little presentation on nuts and bolts of compliance. We're going to give you some tips on your command checklists, and then we're going to throw it over to Latasha Bill, our designated broker for Washington. She's going to tell us about some changes up north. And then Kristen Rader, mega agent out of Sunset Corridor. Kristen is, I believe, ranked number 6 out of Sunset Corridor and high producing solo mega agent. She is also this year the vice chair of Aura Forms Committee, and next year she'll be the chair of the Aura Forms Committee. She's going to present to us, give us a sneak peek before anybody else gets it. The Aura Forms changes coming in January.
We are lucky to have this amazing group of people willing to do this for us. So thank you, PBs and Christian Rader, for being willing to do this. Okay, a couple more announcements. You guys know we partnered with Real Accounting earlier this year to bring you a powerful partnership to talk all things money and wealth. And they were in our market centers last month to talk about 101 tax deductions. Well, they're coming back to talk about 3 radical ways to reduce taxes in January. And since we won't meet again until after the January 13th class, I want to make sure that this was on your guys' radar. So they will be at the Keller Williams Sunset Corridor office on January 13th, and then the same class on January 20th in the Eugene Springfield office. So if you are looking for ways to change your tax strategy or to learn different ways to reduce your taxes, this is going to be a powerful one. And they're kind of fun. So it's not a boring topic. Like they make it fun. So if you're thinking, ugh, that sounds terrible, it won't be. They're really good guys. So, anyways, join us for those classes in January. Okay. 2 other announcements. One, I always leave this for the last slide and then never get to it. So I want to make sure that you guys knew that in January, we will have Chris Suarez, our operating principal, on as our guest speaker to talk about all things state of the industry. So join us, mark your calendars. It will be the January 14th, I believe, at 9 a.m. It should be on your calendars if you have this recurring. So anyways, that's awesome. And then I wanted to, oh, this slide's blurry. I apologize. He's not blurry in person. You guys know that we have a long-standing partnership with Envoy, and some of you guys may know this human as Chris or Bettis or Chris Bettis or Topher or Christopher. We're unsure what we're going to call him yet. You choose. And we wanted to make sure that you got to know him. So he's going to talk a little bit later in the presentation, but he is one of our long-standing Envoy partners that not all of you we have got to hear from yet. So we wanted to make sure that you had a chance to hear from him today. So welcome, Christopher, Chris, Topher, Bettis, to the call. Glad you're here. And then, well, you guys are all really here, right? Because we're talking about the art of saving the deal. And this has been a topic that is really timely in today's market. So Tammy Sue asked if she could come on today and kind of talk you through some ways to be bulletproofing your transactions. And if you haven't had a chance to talk with Tammy Sue yet, you are in for a real treat. She is our Oregon managing principal broker for the Experience Brokerage Network. And Tammy Sue, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm even going to stop sharing my slides because this is your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Katie. I appreciate you and the executive team letting me take over SOI. My phone the last few months has really blown up with folks in transactional stress. And so what you're here today to hear is the state of the industry. And I can tell you what the state of our industry is in a very short, very simple sentence. We have had a shift in the market. A real estate market shift is a significant change in conditions, moving from a seller's market with high demand, low inventory, fast sales, to a buyer's market. More homes, slower sales, and buyer power. That is the state that we are in right now. Real estate transactions aren't particularly trouble-free in any market, but when a shift happens, few sales are easy and almost all closings are a challenge. What makes the market especially tough is the apparent willingness of buyers to walk away at any point in the sale. It almost feels like right now buyers are seeking a way to undo the deal. And in a shift, this makes closing any sale demanding and difficult. In the book Shift, How Top Real Estate Agents Tackle Tough Times, Gary Keller says you have to be good at both ends of the sale, making it and closing it. The key is to remember this simple truth. You do your deals heads down. You save your deals heads up. Heads down, you're keeping track of timelines and due diligence. Heads up, you're vigilant, you're prepared, you're ready to act. Gary says there are 6 moments of truth that put transactions at the greatest risk. And this is what Topher and I are going to share with you today. Those 6 moments of truth, I'm going to put this in the chat. Is that okay, Katie? Put this in the chat. You all, if you come to my Friday classes, you know I am not very good at tech. So I think I did it.
You're
Woo!
not very good yet.
Yet. Adriana's helping me tremendously. So Gary says the 6 moments of truth in the transaction where you're going to have the greatest risk. Number 1, oh, my light went off because I'm just sitting here and not moving. That's hilarious.
We can still see you. You
Okay.
look right.
Problems in transactions may not come at any particular time, but over time, they will come. They just do. And in a shift, they come more often than not. And I want you to get those closings to the closing table. So let's talk about bulletproofing your transactions. And bulletproofing your transactions, that begins with fully understanding when things can go wrong. So we're going to look at these 6 moments of truth that put the transaction at risk. And Chris and I are going to share insights with you on what you can do to bulletproof the transactions. Number 1 is inspections and repairs. Don't let this drag out. Time is always of the essence, and you want things to keep moving forward. You want everything preparing for that closing. Explain to your clients the process we typically see and set expectations. Let them know inspection time period is typically 10 business days. Sellers often agree to repair issues that are of health and safety concern. They're not going to change out grandma's wallpaper. That's not a repair request, right? Remember what I tell you in my classes. If it's not broke, we're not fixing it. Okay? You want to set your buyers up ahead of time for success by setting these expectations. Another one is sellers don't agree to every repair. And if you're the listing agent, set your sellers up for success by setting the expectation that buyers might ask for something crazy, like grandma's wallpaper to come down in the kitchen. And then let your buyers know and your sellers know that oftentimes if the parties can't agree on repairs, they can negotiate a credit at closing that goes to the buyers. That's where you come in. You're guiding them as an expert and you're explaining what's the difference between a buyer repair and an appraisal required condition. This brings us to the second moment of truth, appraisal. Both ORIF sales agreement and Oregon Realtors forms contain language that put a deadline on ordering the appraisal. I have talked to dozens and dozens. I would even venture to say over 100 of you that didn't know that. It's there. There's a deadline to order it. It's in ORIF section 6.3. It is item F on line 168. And it says the buyer will authorize the lender to order the appraisal of the property before expiration of the inspection period as defined in the agreement. I've said it so many times, arguing with other PBs, and training you that I've just about got that memorized. In the Oregon Realtor Sales Agreement, it allows the buyer to select a deadline when making their offer. That's in section 26. It's lines 98 and 99. And it says by the blank business day following the end of the due diligence period or within blank business days after mutual acceptance. Mutual acceptance is when you go pending. You all know that, right? The buyer must order the appraisal from the lender. Appraisal deadline. Chris, what are your thoughts around this being a make or break it moment of truth, the appraisal?
Well said. So I think one, let's be proactive. Okay. So of the 6 items that Gary Keller talks about, the moments of truth where the deal or transaction can be unwound typically, the appraisal potentially can be avoided altogether. So let's proactively avoid an accident on I-5 going north and go around 99. Right? Let's jump in our nav and let's see there's a workaround that's faster. So the triage and the way I would do it first is, hey, is there cash? Right? We've got a competitive market. Do we have a cash option going in? Takes money out of my pocket, but that's okay. You win. Next, there's a lot of cash guarantees where if a lender takes an extra couple days on a conventional loan, can literally apply a certificate that says, this is the same as cash. I guarantee this transaction will go. Let's go. So there's no worry about an appraisal. Next, if you're doing a conventional loan on a stick-built home with at least 20% down, that's available for an appraisal waiver. So if you didn't know, have your lender run that property address and borrow before you present. No appraisal needed, right? So almost like cash, no appraisal. Let's just avoid that pitfall going in. A stronger offer, you can make a lower buy at a lower price point. Lastly, in terms of appraisals, understand the strengths. VA is the strongest. It literally has 2 rebuttals automatically. However, even if you get a conventional FHA appraisal that's bad, don't give up. Call someone that'll look at it, right? We've literally converted multiple appraisals in the last 2 months because they were bad at math. They were day drinking. Something was wrong. We actually read the report and say, and we would reach out to them, friend, I think you're having a bad day. Math errors, spelling errors. I'm protecting you. I believe there's about $15,000 of value if you do it accurately per USTAP guidelines, right? Here you go, friend. Can you please have a little do-over and give me your real report? That must have been a draft, right? And we've gotten it back. We've been respectful and we've gotten it back, right? So never accept that no. 2 last things over pro tips. I'm actually going to go before the transaction starts. The number 1 tip to double your pull-through percentage is on the handoff. 3-way text. Like if you want to get someone, communication is the number 1 thing to me or anybody. If you 3-way text, I'm Katie as an example, right? Hardin, we'll pretend. Greatest realtor I've ever met. I trust her. Here's my client's goal. Urgency, I need you to meet today. I'm showing houses this weekend, right? That's going to happen. And statistically, just so you know, instead of the next day, if you do that little love connection at Onway, year to date, 21 minutes will touch them. 21 minutes, not the next day. I saw 10, like, oh, remember speed to lead? 5 minutes equals 500% greater engagement than in 10 minutes. They're on the hook. And my primary responsibility is to brag on you. So when I get that call, right, that little 3-way text in 20 minutes, I'm saying Katie's the greatest ever, right? They're not going to shop you. I hope you like me, but you are blessed, not lucky, to have met Katie. That's my first statement. They're never going to leave you. They're never going to shop you. Double the conversion. Let's go. Now, proactively back to appraisals, but every single step in the 6, it all leads back to the why. If we dig into the client's why, and not just 3-bedroom, 2-bath, fresh start because I'm going through divorce, what is their pain? I have 2 little kids. My husband abandoned me. I have a pit bull, a Great Dane. And if I don't buy this house, I have to drive an hour to my mommy's home, back and forth 6 times a day because of sports and my job. I'll literally probably self-harm. This is a real story, right? Please help me. I'm fleeing everything in life and I have to buy this home. 2 days before close, she tried to terminate. My peer said rates went up 1/8%. Tell her she's going to pay a higher payment. No, I know her why. Friend, I will not let you self-harm. If you can't fight today for yourself because you're too tired, for your children, your pit bull, your Great Dane, that's why you asked me to help you. We got this. She got her home, right? She did the right thing. I knew her why. All things lead back to the why. If you know their why and the reason and you believe it and it's true, we can help bring that back in no matter what happens to the appraisal inspection. But that's all I got on appraisals. Thank you for letting me talk for a second.
Hey, thank you, Chris. So what I hear you saying is no matter what party you represent or what roadblock you get into, being in contact with your lender, staying on top of the timelines, knowing your customers why is going to avoid delays. You're going to bulletproof your transaction by not putting your client in a position of uncomfortableness, of wanting to breach. I love it, Chris. Thank you. That was the second way to bulletproof your transaction. Now we move on to loan approval and funding. Number 3, more than any other vendor in the transaction, selecting the mortgage provider is critical. You want to encourage your buyers to work with known professionals, professionals that have a proven track record. No matter if you're the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, you're going to need to introduce yourself to that lender early in the process. Develop a relationship. Ask the lender, how often are you going to update me? Hey, Chris, are you going to get back to me weekly or at each milestone? Every time I ask him this, he says both. If you don't have a lender that says both, I believe personally, in Tammy Sue's opinion, you got a problem. You want your clients to work with lenders that will check in weekly and at each milestone. Appraisals ordered. Thanks. Got to go by. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. I know Chris's counterpart, Eric in Eugene, he does a text message. Appraisal ordered, check mark. He doesn't even take up a bunch of your time, but you're getting check-ins. That's really important. It's critical because there's so many ways that a buyer can stumble and fail. And they don't keep their credit in good standing prior to closing. You keep talking to them. Here's what's going on. Here's what the lender told me. You keep talking to them. They keep focused on their purchase. It's really important to maintain communication with all parties. And this goes to what Gary says about keeping your head up, right? Chris, help me out here. What else am I missing about loan approval?
Well, first of all, you're spot on. So spot on. A way you can level it up. So I'm going to talk some more specifics, but to double down on what Tammy said, to take a fundamental, because she gave you the fundamentals, right? When I was a lender, if I were your lender, and what I would recommend or require for the realtor, not only to update you, say you're the buyer's agent, take all the communication off my back and my TCs. We're busy. We want to go find more transactions. Update the buyer, me, and the listing agent, right? There shouldn't be a telephone game. You shouldn't have to make 52 calls just to get an update. That's my job as lender. I update all parties on basic transaction movements. You get to go find more deals. We maybe get to work together. You make more money, right? There's fallout. We have to increase your volume. Yes, we get more effective in transaction. Just so you know, this isn't new. A year and a half ago, we had 35% fallout. It's just deja vu, right? Life goes in cycles. Here we are again, nothing new, but it's real. And so you get very effective in that time frame. And you also increase volume. 35% fallout. That is unacceptable. I don't know how that makes you feel. Like Tammy Sue said, interview your people, and sometimes, not disrespectfully, but salespeople lie, right? Sometimes. So check on them. Ask them what their process is, their lock pull through, but then ask for some statistics. They tell you I'm 91%. Like, as you know, just so you know, Eric Bodden, who specializes in VA, he has a 91.23% lock pull through year to date. If he says lock on your transaction, it will close 9 out of 10 times, not 3 times fall out, right? Like, we know it's going to close. And of those, most of them are contingent upon sale. The contingent sale just never went through, so he didn't pull through, right? Rarely do we have fail. I can prove it statistically. So you align yourself because you're the best. You're XBN. You're realtors, right? In the state of Oregon. You have to align yourself with the best, because if you're with a weak link, your chain is weak.
Yep. Yep. Amen. That's a great way to explain it, Chris. Thank you. We didn't practice this, folks. Chris and I had 3 minutes before the Zoom started. We haven't talked since the last time he was at my office. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Communication with the lender. That was the third way to bulletproof your transaction. And now we move to probably the most heartache that my agents feel, you, my agents, um, contingencies. Buyer has a contingent home to sell. This is a tremendous frustration when you can't control the transaction and the way it's going. Your seller is assuming a lot of risk when they take their home off the market. They move it from active to bumpable, and they're entered into a contract that's contingent on the buyer selling their home. This is especially the case when homes are not selling quickly. They get that offer, it's got the contingency, and they don't know when the next buyer's coming along, and they just take it. And they haven't paid attention to the timelines within that contingent right to purchase addendum. Please educate your clients. Recommend that sellers continue to accept backup offers. As Chris said, 35% of transactions are failing. Be proactive. Continue to market that property for your sellers. Keep going. If it's in bumpable, folks, you can do an open house. You can have it on broker tour. You can still put flyers out. You can still door knock. I just saw Tamra from the Angelino team, and I thought door knocking. She is the door knocking expert. You can still do that, Tamra, when your property's in bumpable. Work hard for your sellers. That's what you agreed to do. Also, familiarize yourself with the buyer's contingent right to purchase addendum. ORIF form and Oregon Realtors forms are vastly different. There may be one that you like better than the other. I encourage you to take a look at both. The one that you can explain the best, the one that you can be comfortable selling, is the one you should use. You're a salesperson, right? At the end of the day, you're a salesperson. Knowing the verbiage in the document and being able to explain it to your clients is critical to getting through the deadlines it contains. I don't want to scare you about contingencies. We got this in the PB team. Stacy, my right-hand gal, Polly, my expert in Southern Oregon, Aaron, my expert in Eugene, Springfield. We've got you. If you get tripped up, you call us. If you're in PC coaching, call Mara. Mara, the other night at 10:50 p.m. at night, we were texting each other. We got you, XBN. Know these addendums and reach out when you get help, when you need help. Understanding contingencies is the fourth way to bulletproof your transaction. Next is a touchy subject, but we're family here and we're going to go there. It's number 5, co-op agents. They're in the mix. You got to work with them. While you need to be the one who's tracking the process, checking on what's getting done and when, and insisting that the right things happen, you're not trying to micromanage the other agent. They have a job to do. You respect that. But you, my friends, need to own the outcome, be accountable to things getting done, and they should be the same. On one hand, I would like you to be open, supportive, respectful. On the other hand, I would like you to be assertive, insistent, and determined. In the end, if the co-op agents drop the ball or leave you doing most of the work, well, it's just part of the game. In a shift, getting transactions closed is far more important to you and your customers. Without a doubt, agents gain a reputation among other agents. That reputation will either serve them in times of need or fail them when they need someone else's help. You want to be the most trusted. You want to be the most respected in your area. The one everyone looks forward to having as a co-op agent in their deal. So all your extra hard work, your diligence in bulletproofing and overseeing the transaction, it's going to come back to serve you. In the long run, if you end up doing all the work because your co-op agent is checked out, it's okay, because it's not about one deal or how business is this year. It's about your career. Developing that reputation that I have got your transaction. Your sellers and your buyers are going to refer them out to your friends and family. That is the prize that you need to keep in mind when you have conflict with a co-op agent. You're going to go the extra mile. My team's going to have your back once again. I just had a mega agent. I had two yesterday, very, very, very stressed out. One of them uh, was getting some pushback about the contingent right to purchase that we just talked about. Guess what we did? We hopped on a conference call. I got on a conference call with their seller who had moved to another state. 5 minutes. Derek Roser and I had them calm down, happy, and they were thanking us for calling. We got this. My team will jump in there. We will help you. We have another agent, Josh out of Sunset Corridor. He sends the seller property disclosures, and the co-op agent says, "We don't believe you. What are you hiding? Our spidey senses are up." Those were his exact words. Chris is laughing. That's what he said. That's what the guy said. I cannot make this stuff up. You know what Josh and I did? We talked amongst the two of us, and we sent back a very short, brief email. This is a law regarding SPDs. We followed it. Our seller disclosed. We're not going to get in a match of words back and forth, folks. The PB team is going to help you find this verbiage if you need it. And we're going to move forward. We're going to track the process of our transactions. We're going to get to the end, and you're going to get those referrals from your clients because you closed them. When it looked like it was a nightmare, you closed them. That is your reputation that you're building. And communication with co-op agents is the fifth way to bulletproof your transaction. Last but not least, number 6, deadlines. When I was working as a TC, I would often tell agents, I am your air traffic controller. I see all the deadlines. I know how to get to each one. I'm going to guide you, and we're going to close. I've got your timeline memorized, and I use checklists. Just like in that sci-fi film with Tom Cruise from 2002, I think. It was he was manipulating things on a big screen. He was taking them and he was moving them around. Remember that movie? That's what it's like. You've got your checklist and you're moving items from here to here. You're crossing them off. You're finishing them. You're organizing it. You can see it all in front of you. I want to encourage you to adopt that mindset of an air traffic controller. All the deadlines and the timelines of your transaction are in front of you. You can see them. You're guiding the transaction in. Okay? Sometimes we slide in, we fall down, we get a little runway burn. It happens. You have to be on top of the process. Be tough-minded about that schedule. Have a checklist for every transaction. Follow it. Share it with your clients and update it. Mara does a fantastic job of teaching this in the productivity coaching program. And maybe some of us have been in the business a little while and we've forgotten about timelines. We've got a little lax. So as Chris said, 35% of transactions are falling out. How many of those could we save if we just kept track of the timelines? It's going to allow you to set expectations to the sale, to anticipate issues, to communicate in a timely manner, and to be assured that everything is moving towards that successful closing. You're going to catch things early, before problems occur, and certainly before they put your closing at risk. And if you're overwhelmed, hire yourself a TC. I'm very happy to connect you with one of our in-house TCs. They're rock stars. They can help you if deadlines and details are stressing you out. And that was the sixth and final way to bulletproof your transaction. So we advertise this as the art of the deal with Tammy, Sue, and Topher. Here's the wisdom that you tuned in to hear. I think when I was talking with the ELT the other day, somebody said, I love the Tammy Sueisms. So that was like a huge compliment to me. So here we go. If you want to write this down, the procedures you put in place will serve you in every market. They are always the right things to do. Procedures you put in place. In a downshift market, Gary Keller says, your procedures will make an even bigger difference. The difference of whether or not you get paid. In the long term, these professional fail-safe systems establish you as reliable, trustworthy, a competent professional, someone that gets things done right, on time. And that kind of reputation means money in your pocket. We're not all doing this as nonprofit, okay? We have values that we live by. God, family, business. Your business is successful. You can serve your family. You can serve God. Having a great reputation of trustworthy, competent professionalism means money in your pocket. It's a career worth having. It's a business that's not just growing, but it's worth owning. So I'm going to leave you with one last thing. I promise I'm wrapping it up. In the first part of the real estate deal, you're marketing your listings, you're showing homes. It's hard. It's focused work. You're making connections. You're writing agreements. Your head is down. But the second part of the deal, after you're pending, needs to be heads up. Wide-eyed, a guardianship of the transaction, if you will, until it makes it to closing. One more thing to write down. Gary Keller says this truth about our industry. We do our deals heads down. We save our deals heads up. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Thank you, Topher, for the collaboration. I appreciate each of you.
Tammy Sue, you're amazing. And nobody go anywhere. We're not done yet. Two things. Well, one, does anybody have any questions or scenarios they want to run by Topher or Tammy Sue? And while you're thinking about your questions, because I know everybody's got to take a minute to get to that, I just wanted to point out your air traffic controllers and the people who, if you're in need of a TC, we have a whole fleet of TC Power partners that are XBN approved and have chosen to partner with us because they like the way we do business and they want to be in business with us. So every single one of your market centers has an in-house TC. So visit our website. It's in the chat, but just wanted to point this out to you that there are a slew of amazing people that you can interview and work with to help you be heads up in the transaction. That is thing one. And then after questions, we have a raffle for you guys. You all have hopefully you submitted your survey responses and have entered yourself into this raffle. So before we end, we are going to do a raffle. But before that, Q&A. Does anybody have questions or scenarios they want to run by these amazing humans?
Can I kick it off, Tammy Sue?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I feel like, since I get to work with this amazing team like on like an everyday basis, and we have a strategic meeting every Monday with the PB team to talk about like the biggest things in the industry, what are the trends that are coming up. And one of the things that we implemented to make sure that our agents have the highest level service is our broker on call. So that serves our agents on the evenings and weekends. And I have a feeling that these 6 things are oftentimes the things that show up, right? Like you are the air traffic controllers of our entire agent population when these oh my gosh moments show up in the transaction. So, of these 6 oh my gosh moments that show up in the transactions, which one are you seeing right now as the most common thing that is showing up right here in the state of Oregon as the trending reason for that 35% attrition rate?
Number 4,
Number 4.
contingencies.
And is
So,
there a specific contingency or is it just contingencies as a broad generalization?
buyers, how do I say this without slamming any of my agents that might be a part-time journalist? Buyers have listened to the news that interest rates are horrible. I bought my first house. Yes, the price was lower, but it was 8%. My parents bought at
Same.
11. They bought again at 13 and a half.
Same.
Prices were low, but we made less money. There's lots of ways to meet that objective. But the buyers are afraid they got to get their house pending, right? So their purchase is contingent upon their own homes, their first home, the home they're in currently selling. And agents don't understand the contingent right to purchase addendum, Leslie. That, I believe, is the number one thing that we are faced with right now in the PB department is explaining that was a deadline. You didn't get your house pending. Your deal's done.
So, if I'm hearing you right, we are accepting offers with a contingent right to purchase without fully understanding the contractual addendum that they
Yes.
are allowing their client to sign.
Yes, and that translates into, in layman's terms, so to speak, not protecting your seller. Writing in additional provisions on the sales agreement, this purchase is contingent upon buyer's current home selling. That doesn't work anymore, folks. Buyer's home currently selling could take 5 months. We've had a shift. You need to use the contingent right to purchase addendum. Otherwise, you're locked your seller in forever.
Great.
Thank you for asking that.
Topher's
Can
got a
I?
hand raise.
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I'd love to jump in on that contingency thing. So knowing that's the big, and thank you, right? Tammy knows your data. She knows why your transactions are falling out. So thank you for that data. I love to be proactive. So can we put ourselves in a situation where we don't have a contingent offer, right?
Yeah.
We, of course, inform our sellers, buyers of the market shift, of their options, and we simply put options in front of them. Do we have an option to go non-contingent? Maybe they don't have to sell. I've bought before, I've sold before. It made it really nice. I owned 2 homes. It was okay, a little bit stressful, but I didn't have to move twice. It was great. I moved in and sold. Great, staged perfectly, right? Would families sometimes get involved? A lot of people are trying to figure out where to park their money. The stock market freaks certain people out. Maybe we could go self-directed IRA, and literally mom and dad could be the bank and they'll be the loan for the kids. And there's lots of ways to make things happen. Bridge loans, right? Find a lender that does a bridge loan, buy before you sell. Like we've got several different ways to do that. So if we know, again, and you believe in your heart of heart, this is the right path, not we're putting our client in harm's way, not they're going to be in a bad situation, not I'm trying to make a dollar and I'm tricking this person because you're going to have to deal with it when down the road when they can't sell or buy down the road, right? But if this is the right path, we just inform them. There are so many ways to get to the finish line without a contingent offer. Please reach out to one of your advisors, Tammy, Sue, your group advisors, or a trusted lender. We've got multiple ways to get to the finish line.
Thank you. Yep.
Topher, that's so I'm still transitioning to the Topher. Bettis and Tammy Sue, you just said something I think that was really important that I want to like my coaching consultation, this is coming up a lot, and you guys just touched on it. How, as a good guardian or a steward of a transaction, do we do our best to provide options without getting our own DNA or options and expectations in a transaction, without getting our own DNA or personal feelings or beliefs involved? Because you just said, like, you just laid out, here's a bunch of options, but can you kind of give us some guidelines of how we can best do that as in providing agency and fiduciary in this environment?
Sure. Thank you for that question as well. When I started 30 years ago, we called it scripts. And we didn't use laptops. We had no smartphones. Didn't even have a cell phone. Had to run to payphones around Portland, waiting in traffic, hoping your client was going to be at that showing when you got there. But we had our scripts. We had them in spiral notebooks, which guess what? Every time you call me, I write your issue down on a spiral notebook. We keep track of things. We write them down. We set expectations, and then we use our talk tracks, our scripts, to explain to our sellers their options and what's the best way to get buy-in from someone when you're trying to sell them. Tell a story. Tell a story. Rather than say, in my opinion, you should do a counter offer and only give them 4 days to put their home on the market, and then we'll accept the contingency. Instead of saying that, say, I've had real success in transactions in which we have given the buyer a short window with that contingency to get it on the market. It motivates them. They're aggressive. They get it on the market. That's been my experience. Tell a story. And my team, the amazing Aaron, was a productivity coach on Mara's team before I stole him over to principal broker division. Polly has been an agent for a couple decades. She's also an expert in mediation. And Stacy is year after year capping and throwing it down in production at Sunset Corridor. So we can help you if you don't have a story. If you're a new person and you don't know how to say to a customer, a client, a seller, I think you should do this, reframe it. There's been success within my brokerage when a seller has made this choice.
Awesome. What about when you're up against an agent on the other side of the transaction that has involved their feelings, emotions, and personal beliefs in a transaction? How do we navigate that in today's environment?
Oh, boss, why didn't you give me these questions ahead of time so I could have thought this through and been super on point professional? I don't care what the other agent thinks. I don't care how they feel. I don't care if they like our client. We're here to serve. And we're here to serve our clients, to lock arms with our clients and get them to the finish line. So, Michael McKillian, MAO agent, mega agent office in Tigard out of Sunset. Michael just had one. I could tell stories all day long, Leslie. It's the first time that my sweetheart let me be hostess at his poker game. And we're sitting there and my phone is blowing up. Michael is having a emergency. It was the other co-op agent messing with his buyer, telling the seller untruths, getting emotional, accusatory, just ridiculous. And I'm not sure if Tanya's on here or not, but Tanya, hi. She went to family reunion a couple years ago and Mel Robbins was there and she taught the let them theory. And Tanya, there you go. Tanya got it tattooed on her. See that? That's our CFO. Pretty cool. Let them. That other agent wants to be emotional, accusatory, throw out falsehoods. Let them. I advised Michael, you're not going to talk to this lady anymore. And he said, pardon me? I don't know if he's on the call now either, but he said, pardon me? And I said, nope, bud, we're going to calm it down. You will communicate to her in text message and text message only. We're going to just let them be emotional. We're going to talk about transactional issues. We're not going to talk about woulda, coulda, shoulda. I hope
Can I
that
jump in
answers.
and
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love to double down on Tammy. I love how Tammy approaches that from a real estate side. We do the exact same on mortgage, just so you know, and why we have such small fallout. So, and it was just, this one, I'll give you one example. It was VA. So first of all, it's a benefit, right? This person potentially died, is supposed to get his house. So I'm going to frame it. So I had an underwriter, an undertaker, try and tell me they don't feel good about the loan. Same thing. How do you feel, right? I don't feel good. I'm going to deny it. No, dead, 35%, right? So I called him, and the first thing I tell her, because we don't know each other, is, hey, just so you know, emotions are probably one of the most important thing in this world. I care very deeply how you feel as a human being. However, this is mortgage. That doesn't matter. You show me in rulemaking how this person doesn't deserve to get his home. So let's go through provision by provision. Did they serve enough time? Yes. Does their income make? Yes. Does this make? Yes. Awesome. So unless you put a yes on this transaction, I'm going to be reporting you to the Veterans Administration for harming this veteran because you don't feel good today. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I hope you get some coffee. I care about you, but we need to make the right decision. This is mortgage and real estate.
Yeah.
May I share a quick tip?
Yes, Debbie
So
R.
I found great success in my own real estate career, starting out a transaction by communicating to the other agent and setting the expectation that that agent and I were partners. And our goal was to work with the buyer and seller because many agents feel like them and their client are on one side of the fence and that me and my client are on the other side. By setting the expectation in the beginning that the agent and I are one side and the buyer and seller on the other, and our goal is to get them to communicate. When they go off the rails, I can remind them that we had this conversation in the beginning. I said, my goal is to get you paid. That's my goal in this transaction, to help my buyer and your seller come to an agreement. Emotions will get high on your side, my side, and their side. Our goal is to be the calm captains of the ship and to keep it calm because my goal is to get you paid. It's amazing when you start a relationship by sharing that, how much more cooperation you can get during the transaction and how you then have some opportunity to jump in when they're getting emotional, saying, I know you're excited and you're passionate about your sellers. And remember, our goal is to help them come to agreement so that you can get paid and I can get paid. So it allows you to kind of then go back in and smack them a little bit and say, wait, stop. you're being crazy. We're working together to help them. So starting out a relationship, and I worked with some pretty cranky agents in the marketplace, and I never had a challenge with them because you set the expectation at the beginning. The other thing is to set the expectation with your client that we don't have any control over their crazy. And I may or may not have used that word often. We don't know if the agent is crazy. We don't know if the seller's crazy. We don't know if they're telling us the truth. We don't know if they're telling us a lie. All we can do is take the information we have and make the best decisions that we have. But then that also allows for them going off the rails because the client expects that we don't have any control over their behavior.
I love that.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, well, we promised we'd save 1 minute at the end for something special. Debbie, that was amazing. So thank you for that revisit on expectation. I put that we don't have any control over their crazy. Mara, you also said expectations. Tammy Sue, that is any last minute wrap up words before we like wrap this whole thing up with our promise to everyone for a very special finale that Adriana is going to bring us.
I'm grateful for every one of you that allows us to build a world-class PB team, world-class ELT, and support you. Without the agent, there's no leadership, there's no XBN. And I'm going to start getting emotional here. I am just so grateful to have an opportunity to help you. Don't sit on the sidelines if your deal's going south. Call.
And then friends, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you for the relationship and trust to help you on transactions. You know who your friends are, right? Michael Popno, Eric Bonin, Alex Karagianides, Chris Swanson, Dave Holman. What I'd say is if you have any transaction going sideways, not dead, when it starts to go sideways, let them help, right? And obviously we're the best at VA, or if you need an alternative to a contingent transaction, Michael Popno and all these guys are really good at finding other ways to go non-contingent. So let's go. Let us help you close more loans.
We love it. It's such amazing partners. Okay, you guys, the height of your empire is determined by the strength of your foundation. This was foundation work today. So thank you for helping us with that. Adriana, where we promised that if the people filled out a very special survey, we would have a raffle today. So like, how does that all work? Tell us how it all came together. Oh, I even raised my hand.
Yeah, super exciting. First off, thank you everyone who participated and filled out the survey. I'm going to share it here. Okay, we can see my screen.
It's loading. Yep, we can see it now.
Okay, perfect. We actually got exactly 50 agents to submit our survey. So I think that's a really cool number. And here we are. So you can see, hopefully you see your name on here. If you do, that means you did submit the survey successfully. So we're going to go ahead and see who our winner is. And they'll be getting a fun little gift basket.
Your feedback really matters. See, look, it's like,
Oh, we got Linda Reed.
Yeah.
Hopefully Linda's on this call. If not, either way, we're going to reach out to you so you'll know that you won the gift basket. So congratulations. Thank you for all of your input. That helps us just grow and be better.
Yay.
awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for a powerful 2025, and we will see you on the other side.
Yeah. Happy holidays, you guys.
Happy holidays.
Bye.